Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCS 2026 lock-in tournament. Today we have the semifinals between Cloud9 and Sentinels. Pretty exciting series. Let's start right into game one. So coming at this draft, I think it's a kind of equal draft, but I would definitely favor C9. And the reason that I favor C9 is C9 has Yunar Lulu. And from my experience in watching pro games, if Yunar Lulu don't get shut down, then they're going to scale harder than Corki, especially without an enchanter. So, like an Ami. So, I just don't think SEN has the tools to effectively shut down and get a huge advantage. They have like strong individual picks, but C9 have good answers into them or a good combo. So, I definitely favor C9's draft, but I think it's playable. Like I don't think it's unplayable for the side of Sentinels. So let's move on to the game. Kind of slow start, but I think coming into the series, a lot of people would have thought that C9 would just stomp. And while it was a pretty strong performance from C9, I think Sentinels had a lot of good moments in this series, and we're trying to highlight them. But the first one's coming up here, where Sentinels setting up this top dive, and usually the way Gnar works is if you're mega on the dive, you're not diveable, but when it's 3 versus 1, you're still diveable. So even though Thanatos is mega, it's just a clean dive. They don't even have to burn flash. Impact barely gets out. Really well played. And while this is happening, C9 take the dragon. Shortly after this, another good play from Sentinels. Look towards mid lane. There's going to be a double flash, Dark Wings, and then Hambach onto APA here. Free kill. Nicely done by Sentinels. So a good start from the snowball. This is why, like, I think Talia Pantheon is a good combo, and they're good champions. Ryze and Abessa are also good champions, and Sentinels is showcasing why quite effectively in this early game. If they could translate this lead into bot lane, that would be good. I don't know. I assume that they're not supposed to win Sentinels bot lane. Sven Vulcan being slightly ahead is a bit unfortunate, but again, not the end of the world. The top side being up is good. So, grub spawn, and Sentinels are on the grubs. C9 opt not to fight it. They prioritize getting Sven and Vulcan into a nice situation. This is kind of similar to one of the other games where there was a 4-man dive bot, but in this case, the Ryze is close enough to like prevent this dive from happening, especially because Abessa doesn't kill all of the grubs. She only kills one. This makes it a bit more scary for C9 to send it because there's no notification saying Abessa's topside. So C9 opt to not full commit, and probably I feel like Hambach probably could have gotten all the grubs, but a bit safe there, understandable. So next play, this is a good highlighting impact. He's playing aggressively on top lane and blows Blabber's ulti on Pantheon and still manages to survive. So he does have to blow flash, but Blabber flashed and Blabber ulted. So this is really helpful for the map. And I was looking for some effect from this, you know, on bot side, threatening a dive, but nothing really happened. They managed to survive in the bot side. I think it was because Corki had that bad trade shortly after the top gank. So Sentinels get this dragon with their bot side control. Blabber had to use everything, so maybe not wanting to fight. And Rahel got the early base, so that's probably the other reason. Now, this is the start of where things go wrong for Sentinels. So Rahel is going to recall here, and notice that the gold difference between Sven and Rahel is relatively minor. 250 gold might as well be nothing. But Rahel is going to go top lane out of base here. So he's walking top, and Sven is just staying bot lane. Sven is just going to start hitting this tower for free, and Rahel is not on the top wave on this wave taking plates, he has to wait an entire extra wave before he starts doing something. So this is pretty bad for a Hell because he just lost a wave and Sven is getting free farm and plates, and Rahel is going to have to share with his team in order to match. Additionally, Sentinels make the call that Impact should TP bot, and with the TP shield and it's Renekton and there's no wave, they think that they can do this dive, or they think that Renekton can get away here. But it's 4 versus 1. In a 4 versus 1, you're going to get dove, even if you have no minions. So, all of a sudden, Zen, if you just look back at the bot gold difference, he's now 1.5k gold ahead. Now, that is partly because Zen got his gold, his quest, and his call procced. But it is a decent part, just the waves and the plates. So, really bad, like, individual gold swing for Sentinels on the 80 carry position. Overall, it's not that bad, but because it's so concentrated onto the Yunara, who's going to be really strong this game, it is quite worrisome, in my opinion. So, Sven already has 2 items, really accelerated. No one's even close to their second item, but he's already on 2 and has... Oh, he doesn't have boots 2. He just has 2 items completed. And Kuki just gets completely one-shot by the Yunara here. This is why don't give AD carry 2 items at 14 minutes. It's kind of scary, especially when they're hyper carry. Nothing really comes of that. Sentinels start this Herald and get it. I think that C9 don't contest because Yunara has no ulti and neither does Lulu. They opt to just try to contest the dragon. And I think it makes sense. Don't fight the fight right before you're going to have all your stuff up. If you're going to fight one of Herald or Dragon, do the one with the spells up. So C9 opt to fight this dragon, and in my notes, I just have they played it very well, but I don't really remember what happened. Oh, I think this is the fight that Sven just completely smurfs it. Yeah, I mean, a little behind the scenes. I put notes on what's going on. Okay, yeah, so this is this fight. So C9 find an angle onto Hambach, but at the same time, Sven is just 1v2ing Impact and Rahel. So really well played. Go back and rewind if you want to see exactly what's going on. But Sven played this really well, but it was also really good engage from C9 to go on to Hambach. Hambach almost survived, but ended up going down. But a big part of that is just Sven 1v2ing 2 carries. So really good fight from C9. I think this series really impressed me. C9 played really well, in my opinion. I think there were a lot of little things that they were doing that were very impressive. And, you know, it actually gives me a lot of faith. And coming right out of the replay, Corki does go down. He got Pantheon ulted. They do show it later eventually, but okay, he just gets Pantheon ulted and dies. So nothing crazy there. So Thanatos has a blow flash here. And shortly after this, Sentinels is going to try to dive Thanatos. And Thanatos is doing a pretty good job of always being mega on these dive timings, but just overestimating how tanky he is. There's just too many people here. It's 4 versus 1. Again, when it's 4 versus 1, you're not surviving the dive. It doesn't matter if there's no creeps or no tower. Whatever's going on. This is a pretty good effect for pretty good outcome for Sentinels. They're pretty behind. They were down 4k before this, and they managed to lower that a little bit and get some gold onto Rahel. And Impact, like, just get some gold on the map. You not get mid and top tier 1s, but they're probably gonna get those anyways. So instead of C9 extending their gold lead, it's just staying neutral, which is, you know, better than it going up for Sentinels. Yeah. So
is your melee jungle carry, but Lulu
C9.
melee carries.
Okay, this is one. Okay, so Thanatos is supposed to go top lane. So if we just pause for a second, Thanatos was recalling, and the reason he's recalling is he's supposed to catch the top wave, but they see Impact on a ward, so there's the call to send it full send on Impact, and Impact barely survives. Barely. And because Thanatos is so late to top lane, there's basically no point in him going anymore. So C9 to call, okay, you know what? Let's just not, like, they are not trying to defend top lane. Thanatos is just going to catch under tier 3, and they're split mapping here. Now, I don't know why Sentinels did, I don't know why they realm warped the Rift Herald. That didn't make any sense to me. And they also realm warped into the Gnar. I like, they didn't have vision, so sure. But I feel like you just let the Herald crash in the top tower, and that's good. Good. You know, C9 was trying to make a play, but it was a good punish from Sentinels to not like overextend trying to save impact, but just keep pushing top, herald it, and okay, a little oopsie with the herald afterwards, but it's all good. It happens. All right. So in this instance, Dragon's coming up. It's another dragon fight, and Sentinels make the call that they don't want to fight it. And I fully understand it. It's a 3-item Yunara at 21 minutes. Nobody has any way to kill him ever. He is so strong. Yunara is only going to get stronger and stronger, but when you have an option for a cross-map play, when you're this behind, it can make more sense to do the cross-map. And this is not the dragon that C9, or excuse me, that Sentinels are forced to fight. It is just a third dragon, soul point, but this Yunara is a huge problem. And I think this next team fight, this next team fight, Sven just goes absolutely ballistic. So nothing's really happening in the meantime. Okay, let's go back. So Sentinels looking on Blabber. Blabber's trying to clear some Baron vision. They look for the fight. Just look at Sven this fight. He's just gonna go crazy after this Bard ulti. A relatively random team fight situation, but sometimes these fights happen, and Sven just goes absolutely crazy. He flashed in, killed 3 people, didn't die, and now C9 wins. You know, sometimes you think you catch out the enemy jungler, and you do, but the resulting fight may not be good enough. And yeah, Sven just really good awareness to know that this was the moment, and Vulcan also flashing in to save Sven there too. Sven was completely smurfing this game and this whole series, to be honest. He was playing really well. So in this situation, Sentinels is down even more gold. Sven is even stronger, and it's soul for C9. I think Sentinels know that the fights are not winning. They've kind of been outscaled at this point. They had to get an advantage in the early game, but when there's an, like, if we just pause for a second, there is a 5k gold lead between the 80 carries. Like, that's bad. When you're up 5k gold and all of it is on the 80 carry, that's really bad. Unless you're on C9, and then it's really good. So team fights are, you know, the only way that Sentinels win a team fight is if they one-shot Sven. And okay, Sentinels opt to try to start the Nash and turn because they think, rightfully so, that walking in is going to make it really hard to kill the Yunara. But C9 are not having any of it. They do not fall for this Baron bait. C9 Sentinels don't even full commit, and Blabber just takes the soul basically for free. Yeah, it kind of feels bad to just give soul, but you can't walk in. It's just completely losing. I think makes sense to try to wait until Elder and then flip an Elder fight 50-50, because if you actually get the Elder Dragon, you might win the fight. But if you win this flip and get an Hexic Dragon, it doesn't matter. You'll still basically guaranteed lose the fight. Now, from C9's perspective, yesterday when I was talking about Lion, I was really not happy with the way they were closing out a winning game state. And C9, okay, this is what I like to see, where, you know, they are clearly winning. They have a super fed Eddie carry and Hex Soul, and they pull the trigger on Nash confidently. Hambach tries to get the steal, doesn't work. But C9 go for a turn after the Baron. Okay, APA kind of ints, but C9 opt for the fight, and they're just winning these fights. So it's good game strategy to try to take fights that you're going to be winning. And yeah, very quickly after the soul, C9 managed to secure the Nash. So really well played from them. you know, it could have been a 50-50, but
Afterwards, though, a little surprise.
it's the decisiveness showed why that aspect of the game is so important. Because they were so decisive on the Baron so aggressively, Sentinels just aren't ready for it and don't get the opportunity to go for 50-50. So on the Baron, with my mouse, on the Baron, C9 go mid top. But if you notice, Thanatos just got this bot wave. And this is essentially the cheat wave, because the wave that Talia is on top of right now is the wave that Gnar just killed. So Ryze is down a wave. So if he was going to try to siege like bot tier 2, it's going to take forever. So Ryze can't do that. So now it's just a straight up base siege. You know, Thanatos is going to stay mid. C9 is going to be pushing top. And Sentinels is going to try, like, they're constantly looking for angles on stopping this, because they're slowly going to lose the tower. There's 2 cannon creeps, and the Gnar is actually pretty good at taking the mid tower by himself. So Sentinels are just looking for a play where somebody is out of position, and I think the route onto APA is their Q, but a nice Mikhail's out of Vulcan keeps him safe, and Sven just kills Impact, and this fight is just already losing. They looked for their chance, didn't work. It was a good attempt to look for something, but it ultimately ended up not working. Very clearly, a very strong performance out of C9, especially Sven. He had a really monstrous game, laned pretty well, and team fought really well, especially in those pivotal mid-game team fights, which are ever so important. So good job from C9. They get the victory, and we're off to game 2. Looking at game 2, C9's last pick here is Nautilus, but sometimes the picks swap before. This is the correct draft order. And C9 last pick Nautilus. Looking at these drafts, to me the biggest standout pick here is Hui. I really don't like the Hui. And the reason I don't like the Hui is I think the problem with Sentinel's comp is twofold. One, the enemy team has Cassante, Wukong, and you have Vi and Jin as AD carry, as physical damage, which isn't really that strong. And the second reason is all of Sentinels is playing to dive. Even Jin is kind of helping a dive with the W and ulti pressure. But Hui cannot help a dive comp that well. He has QW, but more often than not, as Hui, you're going to be using your spells on the front line. And the way Sentinels comps functions, especially Vi, Rumble, and Rakan, they want to be diving in. And from that perspective, Hui just doesn't fit. And I would have much preferred seeing a, more assassin type champion like a Silas or a Kali. Yone is banned, which would have been good as well. But I think this is probably just Darkwing's comfort, and I think C9 know that. Victor Blind is not actually a pick that's good when your enemy team wants to pick something like Silas or a Kali. But it is good if the enemy team is going to pick Hui into it, because the Hui just doesn't fit, in my opinion. And if you know that they're not going to play Silas or Kali, then I think this makes a lot of sense. So, going into the game, I think I slightly prefer C9's comp just because of the Hui. I really don't like the Hui. And in this game, we'll see how we go. So the beginning part of this game is all about APA. They actually show mid lane a lot here, which is really interesting. It was fun watching it. The first thing that happens is the bot lane from Sentinels got a three-way crash recall, and Huhi got a timer to go mid. But APA just casually steps forward, dodges the Rakan W. And this pressure onto APA is kind of annoying. It's not that bad at this level because he doesn't take out that much chunk. But APA does a really good job at sponging a lot of pressure and still winning lane. So here after the gank, Rakan stayed here for a while, by the way. He's still here, only finally recalling. The next thing I have on my notes is just an observation that despite the attention that Sentinels paid to mid lane. APA is still outlaning Darkwings. And this matchup is winning for Victor, so it's not that surprising. But if we're counterpicking with a losing matchup, giving it attention, and then still losing, it just doesn't feel effective to me. And if it fit the comp, that would be a different story. But it also doesn't really fit the comp. So, again, I'm not really a big fan of this way. Now, second crab spawning, and it is a classic C9 situation where all of C9 is ready. They're all here. They're ready to 5v5 if need be. Not really. They're ready to 4v4. And because Blabber gets level 6, he's now starting the dragon, because if Sentinels, it's a game theory thing, where if Sentinels weren't going to contest the crab when they had a better chance at winning before Wukong is level 6, they're not going to contest the dragon when Wukong is level 6 and they have a lower chance of winning. So it's smart time to do dragon here. Good from C9 to secure the crab and the dragon. And Sentinels back on the map. Pause. So C9 is going for a blue invade. However, there is a very important factor that C9 failed to recognize, and that is that Rumble is on a reset timing. And Impact, he's a player whose laning isn't necessarily the strongest, but his game sense is where he shines. And this is exactly the kind of play that makes Impact such a top tier LCS player. Is being here for this invade is extremely important, because it turns this play that C9 try to make from arguably, you know, this is a good play from C9 to clearly bad. Now Hambach maybe doesn't need to die, but he dies and kills Blabber with it, so maybe it's fine. But really good play from Rumble to just to be here in a matchup like Rumble Cassante. It's not so volatile that if Rumble loses this amount of waves and plate that the game is over. But getting these kills, and especially getting them onto the Hui, because I believe Hui got both. Yeah, Hui got both kills. He was losing this lane. Now he's like, okay, now he's kind of fine. He kind of got bailed out by the fact that he got 2 kills, and he has this full item. So, really good play from Rumble to be there. And those kinds of plays are hard to call, to be fair, from Thanatos' side, because the guy should just be running top, and you haven't actually moved into the jungle yet, and he's already there. So it's a bit understandable why C9 died, had that happen, but that doesn't take away from yeah, Sentinels get the grubs here with the pressure from mid lane. The dragon is coming up, and that's the next objective. So it is going to be a 5v5. Both tops have TP, and APA has no flash from the earlier blue invade, and they don't see Vi in this line bush, and that proves costly because C9 lose this fight. This man has to flash out. They also lose the dragon. So good fight from Sentinels. I don't know why, like I couldn't track why the Vi was hidden. The reason I say he didn't know is because it kind of just doesn't make any sense for him to stand here when he has no flash and Vi's in this bush. Like, I just trust that APA doesn't think that he could stand here against Vi when it's Vi Rumble. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So I'm pretty sure Vi snuck into this bush, and it was good engaged by Hambach to find this, and it resulted in them winning the fight and getting the dragon. So Sentinels had some pretty good early games, like all things considered, keeping up with C9 and arguably winning these early games and playing better than them. So now we have to talk about lane assignments. Oftentimes when I talk about lane assignments, I talk about it after the play has already been made. But here, I want to talk about it before, because you always want, the reason you put your AD carry mid is because that's the safest lane for them to be. So this is why you put your AD carry mid. It's exactly what's going to happen. Varus has no flash because of the fight that just happened. He's on side lane, and the Vi is just going to flash ult him, and he's just going to die. So this is, you know, the case. Well, I forgot the name. the control case, essentially, of why you don't leave your AD carry on side later into the game. They're just too vulnerable, and just bad lane assignments from C9. Good assessment from Sentinels to recognize they don't need to match, and they need to punish this Varus. Now, this is a really, really important part of the game, is right now. So APA canceling these two bases is so it's so easy to miss, but it is so important, because not only does he cancel here, they could have recalled at like 1435 if he doesn't get canceled. He cancels them again. He's 1v3 running them down and forces them to base all the way back here. They're now recalling, but all of C9 is now alive after the losing fight in bot lane. So once we skip this replay, when we go to live, you'll notice that C9 is already killing the Herald. And the reason that C9 is allowed to do this is because APA delayed their tempo from resetting. Because C9 was just faster on the map. They had full control. Vi needs to do some camps. She doesn't really want to just be constantly fighting, especially because she has no ulti. She doesn't really have tools. C9 have more tools still available to them with the top and mid lane ultis. So this is a good assessment from C9, and really good play from APA to recognize that he is essentially unkillable there 1v3 and secures a Herald for his team. Really good play. Now the next play is Dragon coming up now. It's a very common play in pro to drop the Herald when you want to retake. So right now Sentinels have control of the Dragon, but with the Herald dropped, Sentinels have to respect the going down mid play, and so Sentinels have to leave control of the river, go mid lane, make sure this is fine, and this allows C9 to get control. Now APA did waste his ulti, just chunking Rahel a little bit, but that doesn't end up mattering. It might have mattered, but it doesn't matter in this game. C9, they just have such a dominant position. C9 Sentinels have no vision. Who he has to face check, and he just gets completely one shot basically. And the Hui uses all of his damage onto the Nautilus, which is just not good enough. Rakan burns down. Really clean fight and position and retake from C9, utilizing the Herald that they just got to not only chunk the mid tower, but also secure the next Dragon. So, next play. Okay, this is one of the problems with Hui as a champion. There are champions that always seem to make their way in pro play, and Hui is not one of them, and this, in my opinion, is the reason why. Hui is so countered by Zhonya's that it's not even funny. Any other mid laner in the game that's not Hui can kill a target that has no MR and no HP when you're 4-0 with Vi CCing them. Hui is like the only mid lane champ in the entire game that doesn't kill someone there. So that doesn't mean that Hui can't be played in pro play. It's just one of those aspects of the game that make him a lot harder to play, because normally that would be a good play. You know, you CC the guy before the Zhonya's goes off, but because it's so delayed Hui's damage, they don't end up killing APA. He survives, Hanbok dies, and now C9 is on the Baron. Secure the Baron because there's no jungler, and Sentinels just can't coordinate themselves in a way to actually contest this properly. If they wanted to contest it better, what they probably needed to do was come from the same side, because APA just solo zoned Impact and Rahel. But ultimately, it just comes down to Sentinels was making a play on top lane, and Hui is just so bad at that exact thing when the enemy has Zhonya's. So smart building from APA to rush Zhonya's. You know, it makes sense to rush Zhonya's against Vi, but sometimes you don't do it. But this case, especially against Hui, it's so valuable. Okay, so we have a mid bot Nasher push from C9. Thanatos did the same thing where he got the top wave. So now C9 is one wave ahead on the side lane, and they're pressuring. This was also a double shift. C9 was 4 mid and then shifted down. And now we have just a siege scenario for they have a siege scenario for C9 because they have Nash. APA bases out of vision, so Sentinels don't see. They're not going to walk in because they have no vision. However, they do want to walk in eventually because they don't want to just sit with no vision, as expertly shown by the observers here. And when Huki walks in, he just gets completely one-shot. So good vision play from C9. This is, I think, an underutilized aspect of League of Legends is just pretending you've recalled. But before we really talk about that, there is a fight that starts after this. And it ends up going slightly positively for C9. Thanatos kills Darkwings. C9 kill Impact as well. And, you know, it's slightly positive for C9. Nothing crazy. C9 don't get any towers with this Baron is kind of why it doesn't feel that good. But ultimately, they're still progressing the game. They're still winning. Absolutely nothing, you know, not nothing to worry about, but, you know, you're definitely happy in this game. And here is probably the biggest missed opportunity of the game. This is probably the moment right now, as soon as Rumble starts TPing, that Sentinels could have made their comeback. So, see, Victor has Zhonya's, right? Normally, the way you think is, okay, if Victor has Zhonya's, I can't Vi-ult him because he's just going to Zhonya's it. But when the Victor is out of position and your Varus, and the enemy Varus is mid lane, now I don't think they know he's mid lane, but even if he's here, in my opinion, this Victor is so out of position with no flash, even if you Zhonya's this, it's still losing. And Rumble TPing so early is really smart, but what ends up happening is just nothing. It's just a nothing play. Huki tries to make something happen, but it's just too late. So we waste Rakan ult. We don't use Vi-ult. And C9, in my opinion, get away with a lot there. I think Victor is supposed to die there. And shortly afterwards, they find another pig onto Blabber, but now the lack of a Rakan ulti comes back to bite them because Blabber doesn't die. And while you might think, okay, how much value is a 100 HP Wukong? It's actually a lot more annoying than you think, because Sentinels is playing the fights in a way where they're trying to kill this Wukong still. They're not just like ignoring, like they're not, you know, completely absent from the game. The Wukong still exists, and Sentinels like are cognizant of that and change the way they team fight based on the fact that Wukong is still alive. If he had just died, C9 may have still won the fight, but the fight would have been a lot better for Sentinels. Okay. So another good play from C9. And Rahel gets caught here. Okay, this is like, they just get mid inhib. This is like a thing that happens. It's not really much to say about that. Rahel got caught. From a macro perspective, you could make the argument that you should try to start Nash when you're this far ahead. C9 is obviously ahead. Whenever you have enemy that has objective bounties, you know you're far ahead. And especially when you look at the eye test, your AD carries up an entire item. Your Victor is really strong. Thanatos is on Cassante and very strong. I would say it's a defensible play to go for Baron, but C9 not going for it, I think has to come down to just lack of damage. They have Poke Varus. They don't have something that does a lot of damage to Baron. So instead, they just opt to go for Soul, which also makes a lot of sense because it's only about a minute and a half wait. Nothing crazy. And now it's the Soul fight. You really don't want to give Soul. Cloud Soul is one of those souls that is sneakily really OP. And Sentinels, in this situation, cannot play front to back. It's essentially not winnable front to back because this Cassante is so unkillable. So Sentinels need to try to look for the dive, but the problem that arises is twofold. One, Impact is getting distracted by Thanatos and isn't ready for Hotbox engage. Two, Darkwings uses his entire combo onto the Wukong with GA instead of the guy who got Vi-ulted. Also, I guess 3 is that they're down like 10k gold. That's the other problem. They're down a lot of gold. But from like a fight mechanical perspective, Hotbox tried to do something insane. He did slightly mess it up. He was trying to Q, smite, flash, ult, but he queued the Edge of Night instead of smiting it. But it was a good try. I thought this was mega swag. But Impact isn't ready to Rumble ulti. If he did Rumble ulti right now, it might have actually been winning. But Zen doesn't take any damage because there's no one here. Rahel's also no ulti, so is effectively useless, just dies instantly. And C9, they're up a lot of gold. They managed to win this game. They end the game off this. And the fact that, and this goes back to the Hui pick. Like, I'm not saying Hui, if it was a different champ, would kill there, but I just think fundamentally it doesn't fit the comp that Sentinels had. And that's precisely the reason I do not like it. Okay. Game 3. Now, my biggest problem this game is I don't know why we're picking Scion on 4 from Sentinel side. I think C9's draft, I mean, okay, they have APA Ziggs, so they first picked it, sure. And then they matched bot lanes. That also, like, C9 didn't really do anything crazy in their draft. But I don't know why we're not picking our mid laner into the shown Ziggs. I don't think picking TF is showing anything particularly important. And I feel like you would rather be the Rek'Sai side of Scion Rek'Sai if you're from a compositional perspective. Maybe because you have impact, you think you should just take the Scion. But honestly, I feel like if Sentinels banned, like, I just don't like the way that the top lane matchup worked. I feel like you could have had the other side of this and that would have been better. But I would say overall, I actually kind of liked Sentinel's draft. However, it is like extremely execution reliant. You can't just pick this and like not go crazy. You have to like actually go crazy. And what I mean by go crazy is bot lane needs to win. Like, it's just a complete fistfight bot. Top lane does not matter. Mid lane also does not matter. It's just a complete fistfight bot lane. And Sentinel's entire game plan should be TF ulti bot on cooldown, dive bot, TP bot, everything should go bot lane and get the Lucian Nami ahead and allow them to carry. Because having these, like, having a top lane matchup, which is essentially like a nothing burger, it like isolates the importance of bot lane. And in a matchup where one side gets outscaled and one side has pressure early, it's even more important that you use every advantage you can to gank the bot lane and get the bot lane ahead. Now, that doesn't mean you literally can't do anything but go bot lane. And I think this is a good example of what I mean, where Hambak goes for a cheese gank. He did all 3 of his top camps, wolves, and then ganked mid, which is obviously cheese. Kills the APA. And this is really helpful. Ziggs is actually technically a TF counter, if you don't know. So it is, from that perspective, a bit strange to pick TF. But my opinion is that if the TF pick results in bot lane like being unplayable, then it's okay. But unfortunately, that is not what happened. Now, Hambak goes a bit behind because of the gank. Blabber got to take the blue. And this is the start of where things start going wrong for Sentinels. This is just the beginning. So a good trade. Both junglers are here. Hambak had to flash for that kill on mid though. So when he uses Q, Blabber's like, wait a minute. This guy has no flash and no Q. So he is just dead. And Sentinels can't follow up because Blabber is too tanky. And that's really bad. This is like, we cannot let this happen. This is so bad for the game. It's not lost, but we really need to be punishing this Aphelios and make him go down 2k gold 1v1. The Lucian. That's like the way we win. Ziggs is going to slowly win mid lane. There's nothing we can do to stop Ziggs from winning mid lane. Top lane is also the same. There's nothing we can do to stop Rek'Sai from winning top lane. So we have to win bot. So if we lose bot, it's basically GG. Now, similar to last game, Blabber, well, not similar. Blabber's level 6 because of the fact that he stole an extra camp and got a kill. And because Blabber's level 6, Hambak decide, okay, we're not going to fight Dragon. And because they're not going to fight Dragon, excuse me, they're not going to fight Crab, then Blabber knows, okay, I can just start Dragon. They're still not going to contest again, because if they were going to contest before, if they weren't going to contest before, they wouldn't contest now. It doesn't make any sense. So smart from Blabber to do the Dragon on this timer. Okay, and then this is, okay, I don't want to be mean, but I don't think Darkwings plays TF very well this game. And this is why. So he's level 6. And he just recalled. This is like the moment where we're thinking about, okay, we need to TF bot. This is what I would be thinking of. We have to TF bot. This is our entire comp. We must TF bot. TF ulti bot. What do we do? Instead, we try to gank APA and take all of our conditions. So, okay, that was supposed to be a gold card. I don't think APA would have died. I mean, he might have died if that was a gold card. But we kind of just lost all of our conditions. Now, if we TP bot, it is a lot scarier. You know what I mean? Like, it is a lot scarier to TF ulti bot when we're this low. And if we just go back a little farther, now Dark Wings is definitely too low. Now he got chunked too much. APA just ulted him. And this is actually a very smart ulti from APA because it prevents TF from looking for an ulti play. And okay, it isn't the end of the world to not get an ulti on this exact timer. But the problem is that shortly after this, Dark Wings is going to base. He's going to get this wave. He's going to base. Okay, now he's back on the map. But now, if we look at bot lane, look at Lucian's conditions. Now Lucian has no conditions. So Lucian has no mana. So now, even if we tried to make a play bot lane, it's obviously not going to work because we can't follow up. So C9's bot lane is getting through like the part of the game that is the by far scariest. Absolutely free. Nothing is happening for C9's bot lane, which is extremely helpful. Sven ult to cancel Rahel's base. And here Blabber comes bot and just pops the ulti. This is like a fake dive attempt, honestly. Rahel just blocks this, cleanses it. They don't full commit on the dive. And on the one hand, we used Maokai ulti and only got cleanse and got nothing else. But that cleanse is so important. It makes bot lane a lot scarier for Sentinels because there's not a backup get out of jail free button if we manage to get hooked. And if we're trying to aggress, we don't have the cleanse to like cleanse the hook or cleanse the slow to go onto the AD carry. This is exactly what Sentinels needs to be doing. This is like if TF did that bot lane and like blew all of the sums from bot lane, that would be so much better than anything that they've done mid so far. Like, it doesn't matter that they've killed APA. They just need to go bot and blow sums because we cannot have bot lane losing with this game. It's just completely unplayable. And
I think that they're default rotting as soon as they spawn. That's what they look like to me.
Right now, Habak ganked mid. Blabber decides that he can probably sneak a grub off of this. This is actually pretty smart for Blabber, knowing that with just the small time that he has, he can sneak a grub. Gets that, walks out, but J4 gets the rest of them. And 2k gold lead from C9 already, a lot of it on bot lane. And this is not what you want to see from Sentinels. You definitely want your Lucian Nami lane to be winning when your entire draft is designed to have it win. Dragonfight. Now, it's so early in the game that C9 having an advantage in a front-to-back comp doesn't really matter. I think this is a smart decision to contest from Sentinels, even though like mid is so much weaker. However, the play was really poor. Sentinels just play it really badly. And I say Sentinels, I really mean Dark Wings. Again, I'm not trying to flame, but like, he actually plays this fight really poorly. And here's why. So, Rahel is going on to Vulcan. It's a bit hard to see, but we've TF ulted right here. This is TF. Why TF ulti here when we're going on Vulcan? If we want to go on Vulcan, we should TF ulti here so that we're not going to die to like just the errant AoE damage. But when we TP here, we're in the middle of all the damage. Also, we stun carded the Maokai instead of the Aphelios, which I also don't like. And Maokai's gonna like Maokai does not care about getting stunned here. If we stun the Aphelios, then you know these two can fight a lot easier. Also, I'm not gonna be dead if I'm like not in the middle of the Ziggs ult, the Maokai ult, and the Maokai Q and the Aphelios ulti. So Dark Wings basically dies, uses a stun on the wrong target, and doesn't do anything. And I think that I think that is like the difference between this fight being winning and losing for Sentinels, because it's 2 for 1. If Dark Wings doesn't die and stuns Sven, Vulcan's almost always dead when he flashes in there, and Sven is more likely to die when he's getting stun card. He did technically kill himself, but ultimately not well played, but it's not like that bad from Sentinels. Like, it's not like we need to FF now, but it is really bad that we're still not like accelerating the game. We have a snowball comp from Sentinels, don't get it twisted. Doesn't matter that we have a Scion. We get mega outscaled against, because we just don't have damage. We have one champion that does damage on the entire team, and the enemy team has a Rek'Sai who doesn't take damage. So, I mean, Anaphelios and Ziggs, like, there's lots of scaling. But, anyway, okay, you know what I mean. Okay, next thing. Sentinels, they're going to start Herald on spawn. Now, at some point with the TF comp, you just stop fighting team fights, in my opinion, until you get RFC. And Sentinels is trying to sneak this before that point in time. But C9 is here, and they try to engage. Now, Sentinels do get the Herald, but the fight starts, and it's kind of disjointed. However, again, I feel like Sentinels is misunderstanding how this composition works. Darkwings and J4 both dive to kill the Aphelios, who has no flash. But, like, this is just not how we play the comp. There's one guy that does damage on the team. It's the Lucian. Like kill the guy that he's hitting. That's how we play the game. I think we're not supposed to be ulting into the backline. I don't even think we're supposed to be EQing into the backline. I think we're supposed to be EQing Blabber and ulting Blabber and stun carding Blabber and killing Blabber, and then like moving up with stun cards. The way you want to ideally play team fights with TF is you gold card the closest target, kill them, and then gold card the next closest target and kill them. Very rarely are you TF ulting into the backline and assassinating the AE carry. That's not often how this works. That only works when like that actually works. But here it's a Roa TF and a Jarvan with, you know, lots of people near this Aphelios. It's not good fight. Like I think they misunderstand how this composition works and how they're supposed to team fight and how they're supposed to play it out. Rahel again gets caught here. Not good from Rahel to get caught here, but like, okay, it's just a kit. It's just a pick. It is really bad, but like there's not really much to say. Sometimes people get picked and there's nothing else to say about it. Now, I just talked about how at some point with a TF comp, you just stop fighting team fights and you have to wait for RFC. Now, they probably can't do that forever because they don't have that long, but Sentinels are going to fight this dragon that's spawning, and I have no idea why. I feel like when there's objective bounties, you have so much incentive to go and cross-map those, get some gold onto the TF, and if you play the map correctly, you can probably either contest the dragon or get top tier 1. I don't think C9 is capable of preventing both. Or dive the Ziggs who's trying to defend top tower or whatever. Like, I think there is a way to play this out from Sentinel's perspective where they play both sides and TF ulti to either side, whichever one C9 does not have enough numbers to defend. And I think that's preferable to just opting to 5v5 this dragon, because we're down 5k gold. We're playing a fight that doesn't team fight well. We just lost another team fight. And the enemy team loses to split push. Like they want to team fight. We also have no TF ulti. Okay, so we block the Malphite ult with cleanse, and then they Ziggs ulti it, and then we take 8 billion damage and get completely one shot. So yeah, this was completely unplayable, this fight. You know, maybe it's hindsight bias, but I feel like every single game, like third dragon, fourth dragon, one of those two, we never fight. Like, just never fight it. This is like the weakest TF is going to be relative to everyone else in the game. Once he gets Lichbane, he's kind of strong, and then once he gets RFC, he's actually really good in team fights, but you have to play it correctly. Again, focusing on the main target. Now, at this point, okay, the game was already pretty over, and now it's like extremely, extremely over. They're up 8k with a comp that outscales, and the enemy team, it's not like they outscale a little bit, like it's just completely unplayably outscaled. And they're up even more. They're up almost 9k. So, not good. There's not really much to say, although Sentinels do manage to pick Sven here. This is what they've been needing to do like the whole game. It's just 15 minutes too late. And even though they managed to kill the Aphelios before the fight starts, C9 just fight it anyway and still win. And this is just wallet diff. This is because they're 9k up. There's not really much to say. This game is pretty much over. It would require a miracle to have Sentinels come back from this. And in this kind of situation, we're mostly looking at how well does C9 close out this series and get the 3-0. And here, C9 is getting vision around Baron. And, okay, low-key, like, not to be the CEO of Copium, but, like, Hambach gets kind of unlucky here. Why does he get unlucky? Okay, well, he dies here. But look at what happens. He's in this bush. He's going to walk out of the bush. Boom, it's warded, and he's outside the bush, and it disappears, and he walks back in, and then gets hooked. Like, it's kind of so unlucky that that happened like that, because he is like, okay, it sucks. Because he dies, C9's gonna get Nash. Your jungler dies, you don't get Nash. Here, C9 is pushing top. Sentinels is split pushing bot. This is correct. This is what they should have been doing for a while now when the game's unplayable. TF gets a lot of gold from this, and you know, if they weren't down 10k, maybe that would matter. But C9 is just pushing with Ziggs. They're so fast at pushing too. Some comps can't kill towers very quickly, but Ziggs kills them extremely well. He zones well, and he has the W to execute towers, and his auto attacks do a bajillion damage. So it's like the best of every world is sieging with Ziggs. And Sentinels give top inhib. And they decide this is the moment for our comeback play. I can't really blame them. I mean, I think this is as good as you're gonna get realistically. They try to go on Blabber. He is completely out of position, but Impact is just not tanky. He's a one-item Scion versus, you know, 5 damage healers basically. So he's just too low. And C9 opt to just stay, and I think they just siege and end the game immediately, which, you know, I'm not surprised that they lost so fast because the game was over at like 15 minutes when they were down 5k. So I would say a very impressive series from C9. I think this is the best they've played in all of their series. They definitely look the strongest going into next week. I think they are, I mean, they're obviously the ones to beat because they're going through winners to finals, but we'll have to see who can cause some problems because they've basically just been winning constantly. As for player of the series, I think I'm probably going to go with Sven. I know this game wasn't really, you know, he was doing anything particularly flashy, but that game 1, he was completely smurfing. Game 2, in a lot of those fights that C9 was losing, he was at least doing really well in them individually and had a huge lead individually. And in this game, while he wasn't doing anything flashy, he was kind of like just being, he like wasn't dying. He was the entire focal point of the last game and did carry and was very strong. So my player of the series was Sven. I think he did a fantastic job. Congratulations to C9. Grand finals. If you like this content, want to see me make more, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what I did well, what I can do to improve it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for the next games. Bye-bye.